So you quit your job, and you
Yeah.
quit your job to go into the internship, or you quit your job not knowing whether or not you were going to get the internship?
I quit my job.
Wow.
I had always been obsessed with TV soundtracks. I was like, that's so cool. It felt like it was gonna be the end of the world if I didn't work in music. I had this conversation with this career coach, and she was like, what's gonna matter when you're 80 years old? And I said, oh, it's not gonna matter if I ended up becoming my dream music supervisor. I just wanna know that I tried and that I can tell like my grandkids, hey, I went for it.
Was there a point where you're like, maybe I need to rethink my dream?
Oh yeah, totally.
Hey, we're here with Mara Tecum, Junior Music Supervisor at Jiroga 5. And man, she has a story, she has a journey, and she's been kind enough to share with us. And so we're gonna get into it. Here we go. Mara, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Very good. I think it was fun earlier we were speaking, you said, you know, what's your story, what's your journey? You're like, it's a long one.
It's a really long one.
So after you tell the story for the last time, don't leave out any details, because from here on forward, you could just point people to the podcast and that's your story.
Okay.
All right?
So you want the full story?
I want the full story. Okay,
Full story.
The reason why I want the full story is because part of what we're trying to communicate in the podcast is like, what's the mindset needed to be in the media industry? What is, you know, what are some of the tenacity that's needed, some of the chance that happens, what the work ethic's like, what the mindset is like, what the disappointments could be, what the highs, the lows, like share all of that in your journey, because I don't know if you woke up one day and said, I want to be a music supervisor, right?
Okay.
Or is that when you were 5 years old, you looked at the credits on Rolling Up on a movie and thought, that's what I want to do?
Yeah. Okay.
Or how did you come to even discover that this was a position that was even available? And so speaking with one of your colleagues at work, who speaks very highly of you, Mike Ladman, loves you to pieces. He was very impressed with the way that you guys ended up finding each other. So I'd love to hear that story and start from the beginning and leave nothing out.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think the overarching thing is the journey is not linear, right? So I found out I found out what a music supervisor was when I was 19,
Okay.
when I was in college. And I saw like a South by Southwest free streaming panel. It was by Universal Music, and then just saw some supervisors on there. And I was like, I had always been obsessed with TV soundtracks. I was like, that's so cool. I loved how, you know, it aided in music discovery for me and what that did for artists. So I was like, okay, let's bookmark it. I want to do that eventually. We'll figure it out. I went to school for advertising, and I was, you know, a radio DJ in college, as a lot of us are.
Yeah.
Did that in college, and I was like, you know what? I grew up in Texas, and I was like, I just need to get to New York or LA. And
Wow.
I felt like my vibe was more New York, and I was like, let's figure it out. So I took a job to work in like content partnerships and like media, and I did that for 2.5 years.
Okay.
But in that time, I had been emailing someone who went to my school, and I was like, hey, I'm so interested in what you do. And I would just like check in. We would talk about, you know, music.
And this was somebody who was where when you were emailing?
She was a former supervisor that now works at a major.
Got it.
And
Major
publisher label.
record company.
Record
Got
company.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to be sure, because you know all the industry terms, and not everybody
Sorry.
knows
Yeah.
all the industry terms. So I'll clarify this for people.
A major, yeah, like, you know, like, yeah.
Like a major publishing company, major record label.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so back up one step. When you say you went to school for advertising,
Yeah.
what was that school, and what was the course that you took? Did it have anything to do with music?
Literally nothing. So I went to school for advertising, like kind of like creative strategy, media planning, very niche of like buying and placing the ads specific places.
That's cool.
If you know
what school?
I went to the University of Texas in Austin.
All right.
Yeah. So I like volunteered with South by Southwest in college.
Okay.
But that never got me anywhere. So maybe don't put that in the podcast.
No, I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the fact. And I think this is part of the conversation that people
Yeah.
want to find out. For myself, it was the same thing. I knew I wanted to be in music,
Right.
had no idea what that meant, and had no idea what the pathway was to find music and make a living at it.
Yeah.
So understanding that, you know, you could go to school for one thing and be inspired and understand you're getting exposure to the industry of advertising, but knowing that you have nothing to do in your position now with buying media.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But to have that knowledge, I think, you know, nothing wasted, that you still have an understanding of what that is and what it's for and how it's useful and how it pertains to what you do now.
Exactly.
So I get it. Like, maybe it's not what you actually did in school,
Yeah.
but I think that's part of the discovery and the journey that we're all looking to find out about you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no slight on
Yeah.
going to school for something and it not working out.
I mean, it got me a job that got me to New York, and then it eventually, that was how I claimed to be, like, I was like, this is our connection to the person I reached out to. I was like, we both went to the University of Texas. Like, would love to hear how you like left Texas and did all these music things.
That's awesome.
And I would email her, she'd email back, and we emailed for probably 4 or 5 years. Never
What?
met in person. I just would like follow up with her every like 6 months, a year. So like, still trying to make it happen. Hope you're doing well. So that's important to the story.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And did you have some kind of like reminder schedule? Was it very intentional, or was it just like, oh, I'm going to hit this person up again?
No, it was kind of just like, oh, I'd get impatient that my dream wasn't happening. And so I'd be like, I'm gonna reach out to her and just like see what's up. And she would either give me advice, or every so often I would be like, oh, if you hear of any openings in like junior music roles, can you let me know? Like, I'm still working in media. And so, yeah, I emailed her for 4 years.
Wow.
And
Okay, but hold on.
Yeah,
You were in
sorry,
Texas.
yeah.
This is good. No, you were
Yeah.
in Texas. You found a job that got you out of Texas and into New York.
Yep.
And so you're in New York now, and you have this other connection through a mutual friend at school.
Yeah.
And now you're emailing her like crazy, trying to figure out if there's any other opportunities.
Yeah.
Where are you working now in New York? Are you in advertising?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was working at Spark Foundry.
Okay.
So content partnerships, kind of like getting brands like say Hypebeast or like Bustle to write about retail brands, like, oh, you should like shop this article. So it's that kind of thing.
Okay.
Learned how to work under pressure, deal with like tight timelines,
Right.
kind of how those like client relationships worked. Learned how to write emails to clients, which is a really important thing.
Yeah.
That I'm sure Mike loved not having to teach me how to do. So I did that for 2 years and 2.5 years. And then during the pandemic, I kind of got restless again. I was like, I still want to make this dream happen. It feels like now. So I did the UCLA extension program
Okay.
for music supervision.
Explain that.
It's like a certificate program through UCLA. It's
Okay.
normally night school in LA, I think. But during quarantine, it became remote. So I could do it in New York.
Okay.
So I'd like go to school from like 9 to midnight on Thursdays when I was doing
So
the
did you feel at that point like that was the thing that was stopping the opportunity for you, is that you didn't have the education?
Yes, because the few
Interesting.
interviews that I had done, they were like, oh, you hadn't interned at a major label, or you never went to school for music. Like doing radio in college sometimes opened doors, but I wouldn't make it to like the second, third round of those interviews because there was candidates who had more work experience than I did.
Okay.
Yeah, and so someone had to really know that I had that dream. I feel
Right.
like.
So they are either looking for the education or they're looking for the experience.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So 2020 happened, or it's 2021. I take that program and I'm getting ready to move back to New York because I had like left for a little bit.
Okay.
And my contact reaches out and she's like, hey, there's an internship at Droga 5. Like, let me know if like you want me to send your resume over. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of moving right now. I can't afford to be an intern. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't think I can be an intern right now, but I did want to share with you. I'm like going back to school and I'm gonna be back in New York. Let's meet up. And she's like, sure, that's okay. Cool. Another year passes.
Oh, wow. A whole
yeah.
year.
So I'm like, oh, I lost that connection. Like I had an in to be an intern at Droga 5. And I just didn't feel ready for it.
Wow.
Right. And so another 9 months passes.
And how long was this UCLA course thing that needed to be done?
So it's a certificate program, so you can kind of just like choose how many classes you do. It's like a
Right.
semester, I think like 6 or 8 weeks.
So had you finished that at that point within that time frame?
Yeah, so I only did the music supervision specific classes.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. So I finished that, then went back to doing my media job.
Same company.
I moved companies.
Okay.
Because I got an offer to be a manager, and I was like, I need money to live in New York.
To live in New York, yeah.
I'll be a manager, sure. So I managed a team of 5.
Wow.
Did that for another year. And then January of that next year, like something just hit me. I was like, why is it not working out? I was slowly applying to things, still in that role. And I was just like, nah, no one's gonna hand this to me. I just have to blindly believe in myself and we're gonna figure it out.
Wow.
Like I'm tired of doing media. I wanna do music. So I decided to leave my job. That was really scary. And did like freelance video production stuff for a handful of months.
Wow.
And
Was the video production stuff you did strictly video production, or were you doing the music part of the video production?
I wasn't doing the music part, no.
Wow,
I was
okay.
like doing like street interviews and like helping like interview for this like news startup.
Okay.
So not related to music at all. And I, emailed my contact from a year prior and from the past 4 years. And I was like, hey, I think there's another internship open at Droga 5. Like, would you mind referring me this time? And in that time I had interviewed at other like major labels and publishers, and not gotten jobs.
Yeah.
Because like it just wasn't working out for full-time gigs.
Was there a point where you're like, maybe I need to rethink my dream?
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, wow.
Because I was like, maybe I'm just not cut out for it. But I emailed her and she's like, yeah, I'll connect you to Mike, see if he's interested in interviewing you. And she sent over my resume, interviewed, and then it kind of all worked out 4 months after quitting my job. But see, it's a rambly story. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No, I mean, you're recounting an experience that obviously it had an emotional impact on you. It had a lot of ups and downs, and it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And slap a pandemic in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It was chaos at that time. I get it. But there was something about that time that's, people either rolled over and just decided to, what, I'm just gonna stay in track pants.
Yeah.
And live a really laid back life, or you never know what's gonna happen in life. You need to dig in and follow your dreams.
Right. Okay, that brings the perfect point of why I chose to pursue it. It felt like it was going to be the end of the world if I didn't work in music.
Wow.
And I had this conversation with this career coach, and she was like, what's going to matter when you're 80 years old? And she asked me that, and I said, oh, it's not going to matter if I ended up becoming my dream music supervisor. I just want to know that I tried and that I can tell like my grandkids, hey, I went for it. You should just go for things, because sometimes it works out, but at least you tried.
That's good.
And that's why I quit my job and then pursued the whole music supervision thing.
Okay, so you quit your job, and you quit your job to go into the internship, or you quit your job not knowing whether or not you were going to get the internship?
I quit my job.
Wow.
So I quit my job in January, did those freelance video projects, and then in April, the Droga internship opened again. And I was like, well, I really want this.
Okay, so you were freelancing, so you still had a source of income.
It wasn't very much, but
you could pay your rent.
Yeah, I paid my rent. My roommates were really stressed out. They were super stressed out. And they're like, you're going to go be an intern after you used to have like more income than this? And I was like, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'm paying my rent.
You guys can cover me, right?
They like were supportive, but I think they were secretly really stressed. Because they liked me as a roommate. It would suck to replace me.
Yeah, no, sure. But when somebody comes to you and says, that's it, I'm going to quit my job and follow my dreams in music, that's scary.
Yeah. I also like did it on a Thursday night and decided that Friday to put in my 2 weeks. I felt like it was the time.
Wow.
And I felt like I was never going to feel like any more stable about the decision, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
You see, the thing though is, did you know that you had the freelance thing as an option when you quit?
No.
Or was that a panic
either.
mode move? It was like, I quit my job. Okay, that's crazy. All right, I need to find a way to make money.
No, I kind of quit my job and had like been saving up
Okay.
to prepare for that.
Okay.
And yeah, one of my friends who's a video editor introduced me to someone and
Wow.
it worked out. That sounds crazy in hindsight.
You're insane.
It does sound really crazy. But I had always wanted it, you know? And like I had offered to work for music supervisors for free. And a very kind music supervisor said, don't do that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And some people even suggested not going and being an intern again. But I kind of thought, no one is willing to hire me full time at this stage. Like, I'm willing to be an intern.
To get my foot in the door.
Yeah. And I told Mike when he interviewed me, I was like, I'm older than a typical fresh out of college intern would be, or like a college senior.
Yeah.
So.
Now, was this a paid intern?
Yes.
So you were going to make some money, not a lot.
Yeah.
But I think the strategy with that, based on what you said, is that at least you're doing what you love at that point.
Yeah.
Or at least love more than the other thing you were doing. And you're getting some money.
Yeah.
But what was evident to me during my discussion with Mike Ladman was that the person you are and the value you bring to not just the company, but to him personally, because a lot of stuff was just on his shoulders. And it's one thing when you bring in an intern and, you know, you have to show a lot and teach a lot before you can actually get value from that person. It was very evident that there's a lot of value in what you bring to the table. So I think there's a lesson in understanding that you don't have to start at a salaried position that is this massive thing, because, hey, I know what I got my UCLA certificate. I'm the one who can do this, where it's, look, I'll scrub the floors if it gets me in the door. And then when you have your opportunity, show what you can bring to the table.
Yeah.
And so tell me more about that journey when you went as you go from intern, you know, what was it like when you first got there? Was it everything you dreamed of? Was it nothing that you expected?
I don't know. I think when I started, I kind of like jumped in. But I remember I was so stressed out and anxious all the time because I was like, I finally got exactly what I wanted and I didn't want to mess it up. And there was no guarantee that it was going to be a full-time job. That was the other thing.
Wow.
And I kept telling Mike, I was like, hey, just so you know, like I already have bills and I already live here. If this is going to be a full-time thing, maybe let me know. That'd be cool. And I was like, otherwise I got to start looking as the summer like progressed.
Oh, okay. So the internship was for a set amount of time.
Yeah, I think it was like 2.5 months.
That's it.
Yeah. Which was nice that it was only 2.5 months.
Sure.
To potentially become a full-time thing.
Right.
Or become nothing.
And then and you can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But now you have on your resume, I've interned at this amazing agency for this amount of time, and potentially get good references if they didn't have a job available for you at that time.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I didn't want to mess anything up, but it definitely took a while to like get into the swing of things and to feel that I was showing my value to the team. Yeah.
Okay, so describe exactly what your job is as a music supervisor.
Yeah. So I guess it's like handling all parts of anything related to music to a production, whether that is briefing composers, making relationships with like artist managers to bring them in on a project for like a commercial, or, you know, sourcing library music, making those relationships across any like music partner so that you are able to kind of make connections that not just anyone can make for a production. And then also like building your own library of tracks and making relationships with like music labels, like music publishers, indie publishers, like of all sizes, and knowing how to pitch within budget and negotiate licenses. Yeah. I think that was pretty succinct. I'm normally way more rambly.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
No, that's great. And I think As you got into your internship role, was it very obvious how to do all that, or was it a massive learning curve for you when you first got there?
Oh, it wasn't immediately obvious or anything. And I don't even think I saw what Mike was trying to do with introducing me to everyone. Like when he would have coffee meetings with like managers, like specific music company, he was always like, oh, you should come with. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. He just wants me to come with for coffee, like meet these people. And then I realized the first time that he took a vacation in like a year, in like forever, because he used to never go on vacation before I was there. I realized, oh man, he's not here, but I can call them up and we can like talk about a project. And I felt comfortable that way.
Yeah, because you had a relationship. Right, so this is now you understanding the power of relationships in the music supervisor role.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's a lot of relationship.
Yeah. Do you enjoy that part or do you hate that part?
I enjoy that part.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy that part.
It depends, because some people could be super introverted and be like, I hate meeting people. This is ridiculous.
I think the first interaction is tough.
Yeah.
But once we see each other like 2 or 3 times, we're just all just homies who like music.
Yeah.
And like, we also have lives, I guess.
And I think that's the thing that people forget, you know, when, you know, from my position being a music supplier, vendor, it can feel very like, okay, there's a bridge between us and the people that we're trying to work with. But focusing on the relationship has always been the big thing for me, is that we're all just people. We're all just people that like music, especially, or have at least an emotional response to music. And it's my job as a creator to figure out what's gonna rise up that emotion within the first line of defense is the creative team, right? Or the music supervisor at the agency. I want them to have an emotional response. I want the creative team to have an emotional response. I want the clients of the brand to have an emotional response, to then let the world have an emotional response. So that all stems from a relationship. And I think that's the coolest part, is that we can sit down and have a conversation. We can talk about bands, we can talk about music, we can share playlists, have all this fun stuff, and then find the moments where it all connects to what we're trying to do for our vocation. That's a really cool aspect of it. So it starts to click for you now that, okay, he's pulling me to all these meetings because he wants me to have the relationships too. What else do you start to learn as an intern that you're like, oh, I never knew that the job entailed this part?
It's not just making playlists all day. That is really fun, and that's why I wanted to do it. But it's also like, you know, you have to be really organized, and like you learn how to manage so many different things in your brain at once.
Right. Out of all those different things you have to manage, what's the most difficult?
Ooh. It might be when you're on like a bunch of different music searches at once and they're totally different. Like it could be like hyper pop, 80s Russian dark wave, and I don't know, like orchestral film scores.
Right.
And those are all due by the end of the day or tomorrow.
Right.
And you're like, okay, like learning how to section that out in your brain.
Yeah, because it takes a lot of time to go through all that music.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize. I mean, I'm sure people in our industry realize it, but at the end of the day, they still like, hey, I need demos by tomorrow, or I need some tracks pulled by tomorrow morning. But it does take time, because music, you know, most of the music that we're trying to look for, it has a journey. It goes on a journey. So you'll have an intro, a verse, a chorus, a bridge, a breakdown, an outro, all these different sections, which if we're talking about a 15-second piece of music, or a 30 or 60, any one of those sections could work, but it takes time to find it. You got to really dig through the mud sometimes to get to it.
So true.
Yeah, but then to do that times 5 jobs that are all running concurrently,
yeah,
you better know how to organize. You better know how to not get lost in the song.
Yeah.
I've done that many times. I find myself on a library looking for stuff, and then it's like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, I wonder how they made that arrangement. Oh, I wonder how they mic'd that violin. Oh, okay, back to it. I got to get through these tracks. It's easy to get lost in it, right?
It is. And like so much of the fun of our job is like the rabbit holes. And that's sometimes where you find the best stuff. But it's not the best for my time management sometimes. but it's a balance, you know.
It is a balance. So what are some of the tools that you get to use as a music supervisor? Like, what are you finding now is the most helpful in keeping things in a box or in their separate compartments on a job basis, or keeping it organized? What are some of the tools that you find seem to help you do that?
What are some of the tools? We're big into Google Sheets for like managing all the like jobs details. We use Disco a lot. Do you ever use Disco?
Love Disco.
Yeah, like you can catalog everything, and that's really nice, and organize it by client. And then a big thing we use is Logic, because sometimes, sometimes, you know, creatives may not see what you're seeing when you're pitching a song, and if you do a music edit to the picture, like sometimes we're like, oh yeah, that's actually really good. So
interesting. So you're getting in there now and you're editing music to picture in addition to finding the music.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And it makes a huge difference, I feel like.
Did you learn that during your internship? Or?
Yeah. Mike taught me how to do it.
Wow.
I had been a big Adobe Premiere person, and then Mike's like, why don't you try Logic? And then he like showed me how to do it. I was like, this is way better.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what about some of the new tools that are coming out with regards to AI?
Yeah.
Do you find that there's anything useful from a music supervisor perspective that you've been like, oh, this is, you know, helping me catch up on my day with all these things?
Right. I think the biggest one is like, we'll bounce out AI stems for people.
Oh, okay.
Like that's a big one.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So you have a track and you run it through AI and it can extract some of the instrumentation within it. So it's like, hey, I love this track, but now I need a version of it with no vocal.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that usually the thing that you need the most, is an instrumental with a track that has full vocals? Or
honestly,
what do you find?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's because, you know, you could really get into the weeds with it and be like, oh, I just want to try a version with no drums, or I want to try a version with no whatever.
Yeah, they'll do that sometimes, but it's mostly just like instrumentals. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that one label who calls or sends you the track, we're like, hey, we only have the full mix. There's no stems. We have no instrumental.
That's where I'm like, what are we allowed to do?
Yeah.
You know?
No. I think I did that the other day on a project. We had this big license, and we asked for all of the, like, at least an instrumental and a cappella. And they're like, sorry, that's all that exists for this song. We're like, oh goodness, what are we gonna do? We promised them for a different language that we would run the version with no vocals.
Yeah.
It's like we had access to it in our license, it just didn't exist as a physical copy. So this would be a great opportunity to be like, hey, this doesn't change the license. We're not changing the song. We just need a version with no vocal because this has to be in a different language, or we have a, you know, wall-to-wall voiceover. Everybody knows the song, or there's just a moment where we want the vocal to get lower. That's a cool thing to be able to mix in between. So that's cool. Yeah. But what about like actually searching? Is there an opportunity where you see AI helping you pull ideas that maybe you wouldn't have thought of, or maybe expanding into worlds that you not necessarily have been in? Because let's face it, music is very subjective, but it's also a massive rabbit hole, and the amount of music that gets released on a daily, weekly, monthly basis at this stage is just incredible. How do you navigate that? And is there a use that you've seen or that you hope for with AI to help make that a lot smoother?
Yeah, I will say I don't use AI a ton, which I probably should learn how to use more of it. But I think a really helpful one is like when you have a reference track and you want to drop it into, say, like a stock library, and the ones that have like the AI software that will help you pull ones that are similar when I don't have the time to search through a library of 15,000 tracks.
Right.
You know?
That's good.
That's a big one.
I have used that.
Yeah.
And it's shockingly good sometimes.
It is.
And, you know, I don't know what it's basing it on, but I think if we can find textures, we can find tempo, like the basics of this is the track, maybe the key, you know, it's enough that it helps narrow down our search, but then also doesn't do anything to infringe on artists' rights. That's what I love.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for the most part, morally and ethically, when it comes to AI, that's what we're looking for. We're all looking for tools to help make our jobs easier, right? Or more effective. the thing is like, I have so many ideas floating around in my head. What are some of the things I'm not thinking of that I can, as a curator, be like, oh, is actually a good idea. If it was then coupled with this, and then we move this over here, but that's what sparked the inspiration to kind of roll off of. That's why I like it. But again, using it as a cheat code to like, have it do the whole music for you. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't think it's ever going to replace the ability for humans to make music.
I love that.
And I think even when I use those AI tools to pull things that are similar, I want to go through that and also pitch stuff that I've thought of on my own, because I don't think it doesn't always capture when you're looking for like mood and tone. And there are options that it's not going to pull that will actually be great. I don't know if I trust AI's ability to think creatively.
So is that it for you? Is that you don't trust it, or do you feel like you're more of a purist and like you want to know that you thought of it or you found it?
Oh, I just think it's not thinking the way that humans think about music. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I don't think I have to have thought of it, but I don't want to use all AI where it misses some of the options that a human music supervisor can think of.
Okay, so tell me your process. What are some of the ways that, okay, if I give you a brief and I want you to find something, what is your process? You're the human.
Yeah, I'm the human.
Tell me your process.
Usually it's like there's like one thing and it sparks an idea, and I'll make a giant playlist on Spotify of just like everything that may even be way off brief, that even just what I think works for picture.
Right. And so you're looking at the video already done.
Yeah.
And you're playing music like, ooh, I like the way these go together.
Or even sometimes when we don't have picture. And
so what do you use for inspiration at that point?
Just like the director's boards, like pictures, maybe script. But the big key is like pulling a bunch of stuff that may just be totally off and then filtering down. And then I'll also like go back to old playlists that maybe nail the brief perfectly that I've done searches for before. And then I think working with Mike has been really good about being like, I want you to pitch stuff out of the box. Yeah. Because a lot of times that's what ends up going final. Sure. And so the more creative options I pitch, he's like, wow, that was a really good round. I didn't think of those. Yeah. That's cool. And then we'll go through music together. And sometimes we'll end up just sitting in his office and like riffing off of like, oh, what you just pitched made me think of something else. And then we'll have a ton of different songs. Yeah. That's great. And so take me back now to you're at the 2-month mark. You're asking, hey, is this thing actually going to turn into a job? And what were some of the responses that you were getting? Was it like 11th hour, or was it like, I don't know, maybe we'll see? Well, I kept asking Mike, and he's like, I really don't know. I've asked HR. They don't know. It's all going to come down to if there's budget. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I was like, I guess I just wait. Like maybe I'll interview like a few other places, try to figure it out. And luckily I had made connections that probably I could have interviewed at. But I wanted to wait it out because Stroga was my first choice. And I was actually at a mix for probably the very first spot that I worked on that aired on broadcast. It was like this like Lizzo Instacart spot. I know the one. We were at final mix and HR messages me on Teams and like, hey, you have time to talk? And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, yeah. And I was like, told the mixer and Mike, I was like, I gotta go. Do you guys have a meeting room? I have to go talk to HR. And so I go and I take the meeting and he was like, so we can offer you a full-time job. I was like, oh my gosh, wow. Thank God. So at what point are you in the internship? Is this like the tail end? Is it halfway? I think it was like, there was 2 weeks of the internship left. Oh my goodness. I was like, something's gotta happen. And then we had champagne and we mixed the spot, and that spot ended up airing at the VMAs, and it was very exciting. It was a very good spot. There was the one with her in the tub. Yeah. I love that spot. Now, did you, who did you tell first that you got the job? I think it was my parents probably. Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was your roommates. No, it should have been my roommates. Well, my parents totally were not supportive of me quitting my job. Okay, yeah, tell me about that. First of all, what did your parents feel about you going into media in the first place? Like, They were like,
They're
cool.
fine with that? Okay.
Cool. You want to live in New York? You're going to figure it out.
Are they
Cool.
still in Texas?
They live in Korea now.
Oh, wow.
But like.
Were they in Texas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But they like have moved around for work. But yeah, they were like, oh, she's going to go to New York and do her own thing. And then I didn't tell them I quit my job to pursue music until I had sent the email putting in my 2 weeks. Because I wanted it to be my own decision.
You wanted to ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Well, I was just like, no one's going to blindly believe in me the way that I can blindly believe in myself.
That's true.
And so, yeah. And
Wow.
They were like, shouldn't you be worried? Shouldn't you be looking? I'm like, it's going to be okay, guys. I kind of just think it's going to be okay.
Wow. So then you get the internship and they start like breathing easier at that point, or are they like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were like.
And so you got the job, you tell your parents, they're jumping for joy.
She's going to be okay. She's not going to eat ramen noodles every day. But yeah.
That's good. Okay. So now how many years have you been there now?
Oh, a little over 2 years.
Okay.
As full time. Yeah.
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 That's awesome. What a great story. What was the high point for you other than getting that call from HR during a mix?
Ooh, in the past 2 years?
Yeah.
I think there's lots of high points and low points. There has to be.
Yeah, give me some of the low points and the high points. I wanted to start with the positive first.
Well, I think my high point actually might come with a low point.
Okay.
Because I fully believe that your best work has the worst war stories. I totally stole that from Mike. Like, Mike says that.
So true.
But, like, if I didn't cry about the project at least once, like, it's not going to get a ton of recognition is what I think. So.
All right. Can you say what project it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were doing, this was like 3 months into being full time, and it was like, things were ramping up. It was the fall of like 2022. We were doing 3 different spots for Levi's all at once.
Wow.
And all of those spots ended up going to 20 rounds of music each. 20 rounds. So that was,
20 rounds each?
Each.
60 rounds of music. You said 3 spots, right?
Mm-hmm. So 60 rounds of music.
Oh my goodness.
All
and
at
is
the same
this
time.
like original music? Is it just licensed music?
All licensed.
All licensed music.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all licensed all at once. And it was getting to the point, like, I think we were on like probably like round 13 for this spot that features a guy being buried in his jeans. And the brief was really open. They're like, we'll just know what we want when we see it.
Oh, the open brief.
I was like, okay. And I remember, like, I feel like Mike wasn't probably getting a lot of sleep. I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go upstairs in the office and like, cause there's like couches higher up in the office. And I was like, I'm going to go sit on the couch, lock in. No one's going to talk to me. And I'm going to work on my playlist. Right. I remember coming down the stairs and like running into Mike's office. I was like, oh my gosh, I found it. And I play it for him. He's like, oh yeah, this is good. Yeah. Let's like share it with creatives. And I was like, oh, well, I thought it was super good. And so he's like, we share it with creatives. They're like, oh yeah, we like it. Another track enters the mix for a while, but it's my track and another track.
Okay.
And inevitably, it ended up being my track.
Hey!
And it aired at the Grammys the
Let's
next
go.
year. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because, you know, it's like we always say music is so subjective, right? Where it's like, yes, this could be the one that everybody loves, but
Yeah.
they're just not sure yet, or maybe there's something else that is really, really good and it's got some great points too, and then hopefully we'll come back to your version. Now, do you get some kind of bonus if your track gets picked?
That would be cool. No. No, just the clout.
So and that's all it is. It's interesting. So for a music supervisor, you're not the one creating the music. You're not the one writing it.
Yeah.
You're picking it and you're taking all of your experiences and your entire music library that's swimming around in your head, and the things that you discover and the things that you're used to and the things that you like that do something to you emotionally. You're taking all that and you're putting it all on the line, and you're putting it's a very vulnerable position. Like, this is your baby, as if you've created it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right? But I think from, you know, somebody who creates, you know, custom music and creating music for libraries, stuff like that, original music creators, at least when you have those same ups and downs, it's like, oh, my track one, I'm gonna get, a nice check to go with it. But in your world, it's just like, you get a pat on the back, you get the satisfaction of knowing that, yes, I nailed this track.
Yeah.
And you get a steady paycheck. That's the difference.
I think that's all I ever wanted, though, is just the music supervisor credit on a spot. And I'm still so excited about it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you're living your dream. Like, you fought for it, and I think listening to you tell your story, you were persistent on the emails. You were persistent about asking if there's a position, which then what I think a lot of people don't realize is your persistence can be infectious for other people, right? Where I meet a lot of new composers and writers that say they want to get in the business, they'll send one email, and if they don't hear from you, then they just never email you again. And I think that's the thing that people in our business forget, is that when you talk about having to do 3 rounds of music and each one of them had 20 rounds of music for 3 spots, that's a lot to go through, and a lot of intense focus and a lot of other emails going back and forth, managing all the jobs. So people who are in those positions are getting emailed from people trying to solicit their stuff and their ideas. They don't hear from them. They think, oh, this person is either a jerk, or they're too busy for me, or I'm just gonna give up.
Yeah.
Not knowing that, hey, look, your email just got pushed down the line of a bunch of other things that just had higher priority.
Right.
So you said, I don't care what your priority is and where my email is. I want you to see it again.
Yeah. And it's like being persistent but not annoying. Like every 6 months, no one's even going to remember you emailed them.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite opening line in email?
I don't know.
Do you use emojis in all your email?
No.
Really?
I actually auto-correct it to not correct to emojis. It's just the emoticon. The emoji feels like a little too much in my email. I don't know.
That's good.
I'm a fan of exclamation points. Like, I can't seem too happy in my email.
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an over exclamation marker. It's interesting because you said, you learned how to email well in your media job.
Yeah.
Explain that some more. What does that mean?
I mean, my manager, when I was in media, would correct all of my emails. Like she would correct all of our emails.
Grammar or tone, or what was the thing that needed correcting in the email?
It wasn't that they needed correcting. She just like taught us how to email like client facing from right off the bat. And they would be just like how to have a lot of content, but be really concise. And because you'd be surprised how kids fresh out of college email sometimes.
Like they're texting.
Yeah. Like,
interesting.
Guys, let's turn on auto caps for this one, you know? Crazy.
Yeah. No, that's I think that's a valid point. I still find myself when I communicate with my kids, correcting grammar to make sure that I'm not instilling bad grammar in them for when the day that they have to write a more formal email or a client-facing email. Do you still find yourself using those skills now when you're dealing with clients? And do you have to, do you think, being that, like me, you're a music supervisor?
Yeah.
There should be a little bit more leeway because you're like the cool kids, aren't you?
I think I still want my email to come off professional. I want them to trust, like, yeah, I can like share my creative taste, but I'm still gonna be like emailing rights holders and dealing with money for music. And I want them to trust that like, we're gonna get the deal done. You're gonna get your dream song if you have the budget.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How comfortable are you having the conversation with a client to fight for a song that you really believe in?
So it's interesting because technically Mike has always told me that like kind of the creatives within our agency are our clients. So I kind of view them as clients, and then there's the external clients.
Got it.
But I think as I've like worked at Droga for longer and longer, I have become more comfortable being like, I actually think this is really good.
Wow.
And I wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think you earn that.
Yeah.
I think even having the understanding that there's a time and a place when you can inject more passion for what you believe in, and having the patience to know that, it takes time to earn that. I think that's an incredible discipline that not everybody has. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people that just, you know, they'll be right in with their opinion right away, and kind of understanding what that nuance is in that dance to be like, hey, you know what, I'll just keep my mouth shut on this one. I'll just put my track in, and if it wins, then I'll be just like, I told you so.
But even like when you're sharing your tracks in an email and like just calling out the ones that you think are your favorite with a little blurb has gone a long way for me.
Yeah.
Even. And that's how it started. Like it was email, and then it was like, let's get on a Zoom and I'll tell you why this is actually really good.
It's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
But I still get excited when we get like creative feedback and I go, oh my gosh, they liked 3 of my songs, because you're really like you said, putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You're like, and people have always told me like, it's not personal, you know, like if they don't like anything, you just pitch more music. And
Yeah, I think that was hard one for me in the beginning, was understanding that it's not personal. I don't take it I wouldn't go as far as to say I don't care, but because we are so close to the people that we work with, I'm just as happy if somebody else on the team wins the job over the thing that I did, because it can be very collaborative. And when you're working with people that you love, to see them win as well can be just as exciting. And you cheer your team on. You know, it can be super competitive for sure. And I do believe that competition breeds champions. That's definitely the case. But it makes it just as sweet when, you know, you can see somebody else that you've been in the trenches with, they come out on top. You're both still alive, but they come out on top.
right.
That's a good thing too.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, and again, because music is so subjective, that, you know, it's not that one song is better than the other, one track is better than the other, one idea is better than the other. But I love that you talked about calling out the ones that you think are the right ones, but then also giving a little blurb as to why, because I think that's important. Sometimes we can just send music to people and they have no idea what you're thinking, but sometimes when you can explain the rationale behind it, it helps to make somebody go, oh, okay, I actually like that point.
And it's kind of nice to be the first person to get to give your POV, because sometimes you're lucky enough and everyone's like, oh yeah, it is good. And like everyone follows. It doesn't always happen, but I used to be afraid to be the first to speak up.
Yeah, I get that.
It's not a big deal. Just speak up, you know?
I get that. Yeah, I used to be like that as well, not say which one is my favorite. I think my reasons were, in some cases, if I'm in charge of a job like creative directing the music and we have a bunch of composers and I'm one of the composers on it, I don't think it's fair to do that. I can say the merits of other ones, but I don't want to try to persuade in that way. So I'll wait in that instance to see where their head is at, or wait till I'm asked. And in that case, it's like, then I have to just be honest. One of them is mine, so I can't comment or whatever. But that's really cool. I think hearing your story, I think, is going to inspire a lot of people. Maybe it's going to convict some people in that maybe they should be working harder at being tenacious or at least consistent or intentional, I think is a great word. Yeah. You were very intentional. And kudos to the woman who allowed you to, who recommended you the second time. Because some people could be like, look, you had your chance, sister. I'm not going out on a limb for you again.
She never went out on a limb for me the first time.
Okay,
She
good.
offered to.
She offered to before she put your name forward.
And then when I got the internship, she and I finally met up in person, and she was like, oh yeah, I responded to your emails because like I could tell you really wanted this, like really badly, and that you were willing to work for it.
And I think some people get stuck in pride. They don't want to show that they're, I wouldn't say desperate, but that they're passionate about wanting that thing. And then if nobody feels that on the other side, on the receiving end of that, they're not going to work hard to try to help you. Whereas you were very brave to share how passionate you were about getting this position. And she felt that. Yeah.
And I think like for a while before, I was so afraid of owning my dream because it felt like it was so far away. And I kind of just decided to just be a little delusional, be like, I want to make this happen. I'm going to figure out how to do it. And for a while, I was just like keeping that dream a secret, and no doors were going to open if I never told anyone about it, you know?
That's good.
And it still was like a year and a half, 2 years after starting to talk about it, that anything ever came of it.
Wow.
But
So you're living the dream now.
I'm living the dream now. Yeah.
That's amazing. What's next for you? Do you have a side hustle?
This is my hustle. I have a lot of hobbies, but I don't have a side hustle that makes me money.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Give me some of your hobbies.
I play guitar purely for fun.
Okay.
Like purely.
Not trying to get it into one of your commercials.
Not trying to put out any music, just for fun, to sing in my apartment.
That's awesome.
I rock climb, I run, I bike.
Okay.
I like to make clothes sometimes.
All right. So fast forward 5 years from now.
Yeah.
You're making clothes, riding your bike. You're still at Droga.
Mm-hmm.
What is the next dream step for you moving forward?
Ooh. The next dream step for me.
Is it like music supervision till I die at this point?
I think I like to have like a lot of visions and just throw them on the wall, and I want them to happen eventually. And I think one of them is like, I want two of my best friends to produce a film and I get to music supervise it. Maybe I make no money and it goes to a festival and we all go together.
That's
That
awesome.
sounds really cool.
Do you have friends that are filmmakers?
I have friends who are producers. I don't
Okay.
have any friends who are directors yet.
Yay.
Yet. But it'll all happen
Maybe
organically.
some of that University of Texas alumni might come out and surprise you.
Right. Like, I'm not stressed about the timeline.
That's good.
I think it's a good way to look at life.
Yeah. And is there a point where you become like a senior music supervisor?
Yeah.
How long does that take? Is there like an official route to that, or?
I don't know. I feel like senior might be a while.
Right.
I'm aiming for losing the junior first.
Oh, that's it. I go from junior music supervisor to
Yeah,
music supervisor.
just gonna jump to senior music supervisor. Yeah, it'll happen eventually.
What's the favorite commercial that you worked on? Or top two?
Top two. I think I have like a few favorites.
Okay.
Some of them got more like recognition than others, but some of them I'm just more proud of because I did them on my own, I guess. The Levi's one is definitely up there. It got nominated for some awards. It won at AICP. Like, I was very proud of that.
That's awesome.
I did a LinkedIn spot that had no VO. It was all music. And fun fact, it was shot to a different song, and then we had to find the music. And the little girl is dancing.
Oh, so you had to match the tempo.
Yeah, they kind of like figured out how to make it work.
Did they have to re-edit the video?
They like, yeah.
Okay.
The edit wasn't locked entirely, but did 20 rounds of music on that.
Wow.
And
Did
then
the song that they were using for that one, was
Yeah.
that supposed to be the song and then you knocked it out, or that was just a placeholder?
no, it was kind of just a placeholder.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you. That's awesome.
And it was 20 rounds of music, and it ended up being something that I had pitched in round one. And then creatives were like, maybe we can just beat it. And they're like, actually, this is so good.
That's amazing. And so, okay, so talk about that. If you have something that you think is great, people are like, yeah, we like this. And then they come back and say, let's see if we can beat it. Are you like, yeah, let's beat it? Or you're like, oh my gosh, you guys are killing me. Like, we have it.
Yeah. No, I think you kind of just say, yeah, we'll keep pushing, and you keep pushing, and you like go into really intense rabbit holes, and maybe that shows why it doesn't work. Like, I remember like making an entire playlist of songs that had really prominent Lynn drums in it, because that was an element of the song that they really liked. And they went back to the one they really liked.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
Yeah, it's still a victory.
Yeah, it's still victory, and I really liked it.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's funny you say Lindrum. How important is it for you to understand the components of music production? Because you said, yeah, I'm into Logic, but I'm not trying to, and I can play guitar, but I'm not trying to produce my own music or release anything or be an artist.
Yeah.
But saying that you understand what a Lindrum is very specific, and it's producer talk. How did those kind of things come up? Did they just end up becoming part of your vocabulary? Have you studied that? Like,
I definitely don't know every instrument yet, like what they sound like or what they are. I think it's like comes up based on the project.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's okay if you don't know what a lindrum is and you want to become a music supervisor.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But I think, along your journey, you're picking these things up as you go. How much of what you learned with your UCLA certificate are you using in your daily job?
So much.
Interesting. Like what?
Yeah. Also, I didn't complete the certificate. I took classes. I don't want to mislead people.
Okay.
I didn't
Fair
finish
enough.
the certificate.
No, I like that you added that. Because, and the reason why I said that is because during my discussion with Mike,
Yeah.
I asked how important education is in picking who they hire.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't even look at that.
I was actually going to say the same thing. You could do my job and have not gone to a 4-year university. Like,
So your kid comes to you now and says, I want to do what you do, mommy.
yeah.
What school should I go to? Are you telling them to go to school, or are you telling them to forget school, kid? Nepotism's where it's at.
Nepotism's where it's at. Well, I gotta get more successful if nepotism's where it's at. I think I'd want them to like take time to figure out who they are and if college is really for them. Yeah.
So you didn't finish the certificate program, but there's stuff that you learned by taking that program that you say is useful today. Like what?
Yeah. So I only took the class specific to music supervision because also I had already paid for college and the class wasn't cheap. So I was like,
I get it.
going to take one class. I learned so much about kind of how licensing and publishing all works and the math behind that. And got to hear like real world experiences from music supervisors that I wouldn't have otherwise had access to. And kind of like the ecosystem of music and sync. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So you're using that, but you say you could have learned that on the job.
I could have, but I think it gave me an upper hand, maybe. I knew how to talk about it in my interview with Mike.
Good.
And it was one less thing that that he didn't have to teach me right from scratch.
That's very good. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has its merits.
Yeah, like knowing what ASCAP is.
There you go.
Like they didn't have to teach me what ASCAP was.
Right. Which is better, ASCAP or BMI?
Well, you got to use all of them because you can never track down all the publishers in one place.
Interesting answer.
Yeah.
Fascinating. How difficult has it been trying to get certain artists? Are there any artists that you can recall having to get a license for that it was like, they're in prison, nobody has their access to their catalog, nobody can sign the paperwork?
Yeah. I don't think I've run into that yet. But you never know when there's like a large group involved.
Right. Of a lot of writers on a song, and then you have to track down the publisher for all of them. Yeah, that can get hairy.
That's where you need the spreadsheets. Yep.
That's why it would be nice if all the spreadsheets were transferred to some kind of AI component and you could just stick the song in and it'll give you all the information instantly.
Right.
How fun would that be?
That would be very cool.
Business idea, side hustle idea.
I'm not stressed about having a side hustle. I think I'm really okay.
No, that's important because, people wonder, what it's like in terms of the money. You went from intern to full-time.
Yeah.
You have your aspirations on what you want for your dream job. You're living your dream job. That can be enough. You don't have to have a side hustle unless there's something that you're trying to save up for that you just want to get to faster. Then, pursue it. But, I know what you do takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of brain power. It can be difficult. It can be fun. It can have its ups and downs. There can be tears. There can be jumping for joy. And that can take a lot. So whether or not you want to have a side hustle, I mean, that's your choice for sure. But it's great to hear that you're happy. Your journey seems like it was unexpected, going from being in a world where it's like, okay, I can do this. I went to school for this, but what I really want is this other thing. How soon did you discover that part though? You said was it while you were in school doing the media thing that you still knew you wanted to do music supervision?
When I found out what a music supervisor was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the first year of college.
First year of college. So you finished that college degree in advertising or media.
Yeah.
But through all that, you're trying to figure out what your pathway is to get to the music supervision.
Yeah, because everyone online was saying like, oh, I just knew someone. I fell into this job. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go fall into it in my own way. I guess.
You did.
Yeah.
And you did.
Like paving your own path.
And now you know someone.
Yeah.
Now you know people.
Yep.
It's amazing. Well, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for coming by, sharing your story, being honest about it, not trying to lie and say I finished my UCLA degree, I'm a baller, let's go. No, it was very interesting to hear your pathway, and I think a lot of people are gonna get some inspiration from it. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been awesome.